The shocking biblical truth about Iran and Israel, past, present, and the coming clash of fates. The air was electric that night, charged with secrets as ancient as the stones that made up the cities of Iran and Israel. Whispers of conflict danced on the lips of townsfolk, a shiver of foreboding creeping through the streets. Rumors swirled, becoming legends, and legends morphed into nightmares. Shadows stretched long under the flickering streetlights as tension simmered just beneath the surface, ready to erupt at any moment. In the dim glow of the moon, a mysterious figure cloaked in a tattered robe moved swiftly through the alleyways of Tehran. Was it a prophet? A spy? Or something far more sinister? With each step, his heart raced. The weight of history loomed, echoing stories of ancient battles and blood feuds that had stained the land for millennia. Each footfall felt like a drumbeat, heralding a coming storm. From the cliffs of Jerusalem, a profound silence enveloped the masses gathered below. Faces etched with worry looked towards the heavens, searching for signs. Was the sky darker tonight, or was it an illusion? Inside the hearts of those gathered, a knot tightened. Was this the night they would finally confront their fates? They exchanged glances filled with anxiety, fear, and a determination forged from centuries of hardship. The clash of cultures was inevitable. Across borders, spies blended in with everyday life, hearing the murmurs of the people, secrets spilled like wine from shattered goblets. The stakes were monumental. Information buzzed through secure line after secure line, whispers turning into thunderous roars that shook the very foundations of power. It was said a new weapon had been uncovered, something that could turn the tide of war and rewrite the destiny of nations. The thought sent chills down spines. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The evening deepened, cloaks billowing like storm clouds. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked, breaking the heavy silence, only to be muted by the distant rumble of a gathering storm. And then, a single shot rang out, piercing the stillness, shattering the anticipation like glass. Who fired it? Was it a warning, a declaration, or the spark that would ignite an age-old feud? Faces paled, breaths caught, and hearts raced. With uncertainty looming, and sky-darkening shadows creeping in, the world stood still, teetering on the brink of chaos. What would this next chapter hold? Would peace be shattered, or could hope still flicker in the darkness? The tension in the air was palpable, like a coiled spring waiting to snap. As the shot rang out, human instinct took over. People scattered in every direction, the cries of panic echoing through the streets of Tehran. The cloaked figure froze, a shadow against the chaos. Was he the target, or just an innocent bystander stumbling upon a storm he never intended to find? Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, the crowds recoiled, eyes darting towards the sound as if expecting the skies to split open. A murmur rippled through the throngs of people, a collective recognition sparking in the depths of fearful hearts. "This is it," whispered a woman clutching her child, her voice trembling like autumn leaves caught in a gust. "It's starting." Back in Tehran, the figure regained his composure. He heard frantic footsteps and the sharp cries of men shouting orders, calling for backup. Adrenaline surged through him. He had a mission, a reason to be there, and he couldn't afford to be swept away in the tide of hysteria. The whispers of ancient prophets filled his mind. In chaos, there is opportunity. With urgency, he turned to slip into a nearby building, its door creaking open as he entered, heart thundering in his chest. Inside, the darkened room whispered secrets of its own. The scent of dust and age hung heavy in the air, mingling with a low hum noise beneath the chaos outside. Shadows danced on the walls, and he moved carefully, searching for something or someone. In a hidden chamber, illuminated by the flickering light of a lone candle, he found it, the artifact that could alter the balance of power, the ancient weapon whispered about in secret gatherings. It gleamed faintly, a medallion inscribed with symbols lost to time, echoing power both feared and coveted. Gripping it tightly, he felt an electric thrill, but the weight of its history bore down on him. Was he truly meant to bear this burden? Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, the sound of sirens sliced through the stillness as military vehicles rushed toward the source of the shot. The quiet prayers of the faithful turned into frantic calls for safety. "We have to leave." A father's shout echoed, urgency layered thick in his voice. He gathered his family, pushing them towards the exit, determination etched on his face. "We can't wait any longer." Back in Tehran, the shouts intensified outside, increasing in volume until the air felt thick with tension. The cloaked figure hesitated, inching toward the door, but the realization hit him he wasn't alone. Someone emerged from the shadows, dark eyes glinting with the same ancient knowledge he had. It was a woman, strong yet fragile, and her voice rang with clarity. "You found it. Now we protect it, together." The weight of their intertwined fates pressed upon them. Outside, the storm grew closer, threatening to unleash its full fury at any moment. Fear quaked in their hearts, but beneath it lay a flicker of hope. Could they truly protect what had been hidden for so long? As tensions escalated both on the streets of Tehran and Jerusalem, both sides prepared for a confrontation that felt destined. The weight of history pressed heavily on their shoulders. Was this the beginning or the end? What secrets lay buried within the echoes of their past, waiting to be unearthed? With every heartbeat, the clock was ticking. The world held its breath, one moment away from catastrophe or miraculous change. What choice would they make when the storm finally broke? The next chapter awaited, holding answers to questions yet to be asked and hidden dangers that could change everything. The sound of sirens howled outside, drowning out the thunder of their racing hearts. The woman, her features shadowed yet vivid in her determination, stepped closer to the cloaked figure. "We can't stay here. They will come looking for the medallion." His fingers tightened around the artifact, a pulse of raw energy coursing through him. "What do we do?" he asked, urgency cracking his voice. The unpredictability of the moment loomed large, he felt both exhilarated and terrified. "We take it to the temple. It has to be safeguarded," she stated, certainty lacing her words. She gestured toward the exit, her eyes darting to the door as if she could sense the approaching threat. "Trust me. We must move now." They rushed back into the chaos, a hurricane of terrified voices and frantic movements enveloping them. The streets of Tehran felt like a battleground. Dust hung thick in the air, taste bitter on his tongue. Flashes of red and blue lights illuminated the panic-stricken faces around them. He saw a young man clutching his bleeding arm, a woman cradling a child, eyes wide with horror. "Stay close," the woman commanded, pulling him with her as they navigated through the throng, adrenaline pushing them forward. He couldn't shake the unease stirring in his gut. What if they were too late? Outside, sirens screamed, and the air crackled with noise, an orchestra of fear resonating across the city. "Do you think they know about us?" he asked, glancing over his shoulder. The city was alive with the chaos of pursuit, the tension palpable like a live wire. "I'm sure they're coming for what we have," she replied, urgency lacing her voice. "But they won't stop us. Not if we can reach the sanctuary before sunset." As they turned a corner, the shadows deepened, the buildings looming like silent sentinels. An unmarked vehicle screeched to a halt nearby, military personnel spilling out, their eyes scanning the crowd. She pulled him into an alley, hastily shoving them behind a dumpster. Their breaths intertwined, quick and shallow, as they waited. The soldier shouted commands, his voice harsh and authoritative, blending seamlessly with the muffled cries of panic. "They're everywhere. We have to get past them." His heart hammered against his ribcage, a rhythm of mounting dread. "On my count," she whispered, sticking close, the intensity of the moment drawing them together like an electric charge. Ready? 1, 2, 3. They darted from their hiding place, hearts racing, dodging between vehicles and frantic bystanders. As they sprinted, bullets from above thunked into the asphalt near them, causing people to scream and scramble away. A wave of fear washed over him, nearly paralyzing. "Keep moving," she shouted, pulling him along, her grip steadfast. They dashed through narrow streets leading toward what felt like a distant haven, each step fueled by a desperate need to survive. The temple loomed ahead, a formidable structure that seemed to breathe history and power. As they approached, the air hummed with anticipation, a magnetic pull beckoning them to the threshold. But a sudden crash of glass shattered their moment of hope. It echoed in the air. A soldier had spotted them. "Stop!" he barked, his gun raised, voice slicing through the clamor like a knife. They hesitated, the medallion pulsing with significance between them, a silent witness to their peril. The woman looked at him, eyes wide with resolve. "Go," she urged. "Get inside. I'll hold them off." Heat rose in his chest, a lump in his throat gnawing at him. "No. I want to leave you." The clash between duty and desire raged within him as fleeting moments scattered in favor of a decision with dire consequences. If they hesitated for too long, it might end everything. "Trust me," she yelled, pushing him toward the door. "You have to protect it." In that second, he felt the weight of the world. Would he forsake the mission, or follow his heart? With every fiber of his being, he lunged for the entrance, fear and hope amalgamating into one desperate push, but before he could reach safety, the crack of gunfire shattered the night. What price would he pay for the truth hidden within the medallion? And as a new enemy emerged from the shadows, was escape still an option? The answers loomed on the horizon, and time was running out. The door swung open with a heavy creak, and he ducked inside, heart racing. The heavy scent of incense mixed with damp stone enveloped him, offering a stark contrast to the chaos outside. Shadows flickered on the walls, warping the ancient designs carved deep into the temple. He paused, hands trembling as he looked back, desperation clawing at his throat. "Hold on!" he shouted, voice echoing in the silence. But the street outside was now a tapestry of disarray, a riot of colors and unrecognizable faces fleeing in every direction. He caught a glimpse of her, a flash of brave eyes, just before she disappeared into the mess. Panic surged again. He could drown in it. What if the shots found her? What if he lost her forever? Just as he was about to turn back, a chilling voice resonated from the doorway. "Come out, and we can end this peacefully." The soldier from before, authoritative and cold, stepped inside, his rifle sweeping dangerously through the entrance. The man pressed himself against the rough stone wall, every muscle in his body tensed. "Stay calm," he whispered to himself, forcing his breath to steady. But the tranquility of the temple seemed shattered. The flickering flames of the candles danced wildly, and the shadows whispered secrets of danger. His thoughts whirled around the medallion still gripped in his hand, its weight a constant reminder that time was slipping away. Suddenly, his phone buzzed in his pocket, a jarring contrast to the heartbeat of silence. He retrieved it, glancing at the screen. A message flickered, "They know where you are. Get to the altar. Now." The altar. The sacred place where the medallion had to be stored. He felt an electric surge of purpose, and with that, he dashed toward the center of the cavernous room. The soldier was still ranting at him, demanding his surrender, his voice echoing in the dimness. "Get out here, or we will flush you out." A loud crash rang through the air as he hurled something into the temple, followed by thick clouds of smoke that he covered his mouth and nose as he sprinted forward, heart thumping in his chest. Shadows leaped and lunged as the smoke curled around, obscuring both vision and hope. The altar gleamed in the faint light ahead, adorned with symbols of power and protection. "Just a little closer," he muttered, fighting his pounding heart and the encroaching darkness. As he reached the altar, he stumbled slightly, catching himself against the stone. With shaky hands, he placed the medallion on its sacred pedestal. The instant it made contact, a pulse of energy radiated, shimmering through the air like heat waves. He gasped, feeling the power thrumming beneath his skin. But his relief was short-lived. A loud crash echoed wood splintering, the entrance giving way under the force. The soldier burst through the smoke, eyes wild with determination, rage seeping from every pore. "There's nowhere to run," he sneered, pointing his weapon. As panic gripped him again, he realized he had to act. The medallion pulsed at the altar, and he felt a strange connection forming, something ancient and undeniable wrapping around him. "Let her go!" he yelled, voice rising above the chaos. "You don't have to do this." But the soldier laughed, a cold, humorless sound that sent shivers down his spine. "You think this is just about her? You don't understand the full story here." The words hung in the air, a harbinger of truths left untold. The medallion shone brighter, illuminating the room with an ethereal glow. "Listen, I'll help you," he blurted, desperation spilling out uncontrollably. "We can work together. Just like the medallion can protect us, it can protect you too." The soldier hesitated, his grip on the weapon wavering. But suddenly, the altar hummed, responding to the moment, and the world seemed to shift. There was a whisper in the air. The temple trembling, what did the medallion reveal about the clash they were caught in? And would it be enough to save them all? The answers were just beginning to unfold, but every second counted. The moment the altar hummed, a wave of energy surged through him, a powerful force that felt both familiar and terrifying. The soldier's eyes widened, caught between confusion and greed. The medallion glowed with a brilliant light that pulsed in sync with the chaos surrounding them. "Step back!" the soldier shouted, instinctively raising his weapon. But the medallion resonated, a soft chime echoing through the air, as if warning them both of the impending danger. "Please," he urged, voice trembling. "If you want power, the medallion can give it to you. But you have to listen." With a flick of his wrist, the soldier aimed his rifle directly at the glowing artifact. "Don't give me your lies. This is about survival." Before he could react, the air splintered with a deafening roar. The temple shook violently, and the walls seemed alive, protesting against the soldier's arrogance. The medallion's glow intensified, casting long shadows around the chamber, illuminating scraps of history and power embedded in the stonework. Gripped by a frenzied instinct, he lunged, placing himself between the soldier and the altar. Time slowed as he felt every muscle in his body tense, the weight of both men's desperation colliding in that fraught moment. "Listen!" he cried again, his breath tangled with urgency. "You are part of something greater. This isn't just about power, it's about all of us." The soldier hesitated, confusion flickering in those hard eyes. Just then, the altar erupted with a shockwave that knocked them both backward. The sound was like thunder, reverberating off the ancient walls. Dust and debris filled the air, yet in the chaos, a vision surfaced in his mind, a glimpse of history, of battles fought, alliances forged, and destinies intertwined. The soldier scrambled to his feet, rage bubbling beneath his surface. "You don't know what you're tampering with," he bellowed, advancing again. "Your life ends here." He could feel the medallion thrumming with anticipation, as if beckoning him to embrace the truth. What if we're fighting the wrong battle? What if we're enemies today, but allies tomorrow? He had to reach the soldier, to break through the darkness surrounding his heart. A flicker of doubt crossed the soldier's face. "You think they'll let us walk away?" Suddenly, another crack of thunder echoed, drowning out their thoughts, a fierce burst of energy ripping through the altar. The room illuminated with visions of ancient struggles, haunting images of betrayal and sacrifice. He saw faces, friends, foes, all intertwined in a fate greater than any individual, even in the violence that plagued them now. "Look!" he shouted, pointing to the radiant glow that flickered like a beacon. This could unite us. We could end this cycle of violence. But the soldier sneered. That's a fairy tale. Do you really think I can trust you? Distracted by the vision unfolding, he felt a jolt of realization. The medallion held the power to reveal the secrets of the past, but it also held danger. Could it truly bring allies together in this turbulent world? The stakes were impossibly high. As the altar trembled with unearthly energy, he felt a pulse that synchronized with his heartbeat. One last push. Join me. We could unlock a future filled with hope, not just survival. Don't you want that? The soldier faltered, his gun slowly lowering as uncertainty simmered in his eyes. Suddenly, the world shifted. A blinding light enveloped them both, and for a split second, everything ceased, but as if an unseen force pulled at them, a secondary dread crept in. Dark figures shifted in the shadows, and the distant sounds of chaos crackled back to life like a cruel reminder of their reality. How do we know it's not too late? The soldier whispered, despair bleeding into his words. With the medallion flickering wildly at the altar, a final thought invaded his mind. What if this is only the beginning? The ground shook beneath them, and with a pulse of energy that resonated in their very bones, they were thrust into an uncertain future, where every choice could seal their fates forever. What would happen when the dust settled? Would they rise as allies or fall as enemies? The answers lurked in the shadows, and all he could do was hope to find them before it was too late. The light from the medallion faded, leaving behind a lingering glow that painted eerie, shifting shadows across the walls. The temple, once a sanctuary of secrets, now felt like a battleground between worlds. The two men stood their ground, hearts racing, both uncertain of what came next. Did you see that? The soldier muttered, still dazed, glancing back toward the altar. The vision hung in his mind, tendrils of doubt weaving into his resolve. He looked at the medallion, a small sun amid the rubble, unsure whether to fear it or trust it. I saw everything, he replied, his voice a shaky whisper. We're tied to this, tied to them. The past is haunting us, but there's a chance to change our future. Change? The soldier spat, veins pulsing with anger. What do you think happens if we fail? They'll hunt us down, and this time it won't just be a fight. It'll be a massacre. The weight of reality crashed down. Memories flashed before him, images of bloodshed, families torn apart, promises made and broken. Would going against the soldier's instinct push them toward a common future, or would it lead them straight into the jaws of an ancient conflict? The ground trembled again, and a crack echoed from somewhere deep within the temple. They exchanged horrified glances. What was that? The soldier's voice cracked slightly over the growing noise. Something's coming. He darted toward the altar, aware that with every shudder of the earth, more than just fate hung in the balance. Shadows cast from his past converged, darker forms emerging from hidden depths. There was no escaping them now. They both fell silent as something shifted in the corner of their eyes. Figures emerged, specters from the darkness, cloaked in layers of history and pain. A guttural sound erupted from the shadows as one stepped into view. A tortured expression splashed across its face, eyes ablaze with unholy longing. Seekers of power, the figure rasped, the words curling into a whisper that echoed like the final breath of an ancient tongue. It raised a ghostly hand, and the medallion responded with a violent thrum, disrupting the air around them. The soldier's grip tightened on his weapon, a signal of survival. Get back! He shouted at the apparition, turning half toward him. But instead of retreating, he felt an urge wash over him, something pulling him closer to the encroaching specter. They do not want to lose what they've gained, he told the soldier. This medallion binds us to them. We can find truth through this chaos. A desperate hope sparked in his chest, but would they have the courage to uncover it? Another figure emerged, this one tall and imposing, resonating with raw, explosive energy. You've broken the seal. Revelations await the brave, but the price must be paid. What does that mean? The soldier demanded, stepping closer, heart racing, fear coiling in his stomach. Power is weighed by sacrifice. The worst must come before the best can rise. The figure's voice slithered like smoke, heavy with foreboding yet strangely inviting. To uncover the truth is to surrender everything. He felt the medallion pulse again, matching the rising panic in the air. The soldier hesitated, switching back and forth between fear and curiosity. What if we can't afford the sacrifice? He asked, eyes darting between the shadows and the soldier beside him. Before he could process the implications, the walls around them shuddered, and fragments of stone rained down, powerful enough to threaten their very existence. Reality quaked, and with it, their decisions lay on a razor's edge. Run! He yelled, instinct kicking in. They stumbled backward as the altar groaned, the specters swirling into a tempest as the ground threatened to swallow them whole. Would they stand together against the chaos, or would fear split them apart? With a final roar, the shadows surged forward, taking form and intent. There was no escape now. They had to fight or fall, but even then, the question lingered ominously: what would be the cost of uncovering the truth? As darkness closed in, his heart pounded like a war drum. What was ahead felt more terrible than anything he had ever faced. Would the darkness consume them both? In that moment, he knew every choice demanded a sacrifice. What lay on the horizon was only the beginning of their shared destiny, one that threatened to unravel everything they thought they knew. And then, as the shadows loomed, the words echoed in his mind, haunting yet insistent. What price would they ultimately pay for the truth? The floor trembled beneath them as the shadows seemed to pulse with life. Their forms twisted and writhed, pulling on the very air, dragging it into an abyss of despair. He felt the weight of the medallion in his hand, a cruel joke of fate. What once felt like a key to the secrets of the universe now clung to him like a chain, threatening to drag him into the depths that gaped around them. Don't just stand there. The soldier shouted, urgency lacing his voice. We have to get out of here. His grip on his weapon increased, each second felt precious, each heartbeat echoed like thunder in the cavernous space. They stumbled backward, the medallion's glow flickering like a dying star, drawing the spirits closer. One specter lunged, its grasping fingers reaching greedily. Their icy touch sent jolts of fear radiating through him. With a frantic motion, he swung the medallion around, the air thickening with tension. Hold it up, he urged, not fully understanding why he felt this surge of confidence. Maybe it can keep them back. In an instant, the atmosphere shifted. The glow expanded, illuminating the room and reflecting off the grotesque faces of the spirits. A high-pitched wail erupted, causing him to wince as pain punctured the cacophony. The specters reeled, twisting away from the light, their forms flickering as if afraid of the truth the medallion represented. Look! The soldier's voice broke through the noise, pointing to the altar where cracks began to form. It's destroying them. The ground shook increasingly violent beneath their feet, each tremor sending shocks of panic racing through his veins. As the altar collapsed, dust exploded upwards like a trapped animal, and his heart raced with a mix of dread and exhilaration. This is our chance, he shouted, pushing forward, even as obstacles crumbled around them, but the shadows roared back. You do not belong. You will suffer the consequences. The voices howled in unison, rich with fury and despair, creating a storm out of their chaotic existence. Fear struck like lightning through his mind. Was this the cost of their discovery? They burst through the swirling chaos, the medallion blazing fiercely, the weight of its potential still strong in his hand. But doubt crept in. Could they really harness its power? What lay on the other side of knowledge? Get ready! The soldier cried, raising his weapon high. When I say go, we turn and fight. His breathing was heavy, the tension palpable as the swirl of darkness encroached like a haunted memory refusing to die. The specter's hands slashed through the air, desperate to reclaim what was lost. The entire chamber trembled, rattling bones and spirits alike. "Now!" the soldier bellowed. In a moment where time stood still, he threw the medallion towards the nearest spectre. As it flew, a shimmering trail followed, the light illuminating everything in its path. Hit by its brilliance, the spectre howled and began to dissolve like a wisp of smoke in the wind. "Keep moving!" he shouted, racing forward. But the shadows weren't finished. They surged, transforming the darkness around them into a tangible force, pulling at their essence. Adrenaline shot through his veins like fire. They sprinted, weaving through the flickering shapes, but each step felt heavier as whispers slithered around them, forcing doubt into their minds. "Will you fall prey to the past?" A chilling voice beckoned from the depths, echoes of past desperation swirling through the air. He hesitated for a split second. It was a choice: stand firm and face the truth, or give in to the haunting voices of despair. "Stay strong," the soldier barked, and with renewed resolve, he buried fear beneath courage and pressed on. The altar was cracking completely, the remnants of their reality shattering with each heartbeat. With one last surge, they leaped toward the exit as the shadows erupted behind them, the darkness clawing at their backs, relentless and vengeful. A blinding flash engulfed them as they burst through the torn threshold, the world beyond brighter than they remembered. But glancing back, he saw the shadows swirling, coiling like serpents, determined to follow. Was this just the beginning? He wondered, heart pounding and fists clenched. A deep, rumbling voice echoed hauntingly, affirming his fear. "The truth you seek often comes with chains." But before he could react, the ground beneath him quaked violently, and the air snapped like a taut string. What awaited them outside the temple felt like nothing short of fate. Would the light of the medallion guide them forward, or would it lead them into further darkness? Just then, a haunting darkness loomed in the distance, and he knew whatever came next would demand everything. Would truth prove to be their salvation or their doom? They stumbled out of the temple, breathless and gasping, the air outside cool and sharp against their faces. It felt almost like a reward, but the shadows were never far behind. The brilliant light of the medallion pulsed in his hand, a beacon trembling against the encroaching dark. "Move!" the soldier barked, eyes scanning the horizon, searching for safety. They darted into a grove of trees lining the valley, the branches arching overhead like skeletal hands, their shadows still shifting at the edges of the clearing. For the first time, he felt the weight of despair crush him. "Is this it?" he muttered, panic gnawing at the edges of his courage. "Is this what we risked it all for? Keep your head in the game," the soldier replied, urgency clinging to his every word. He nodded, steeling himself, but uncertainty wrapped around him like a shroud. Together they navigated the dense underbrush, each rustle of leaves a reminder of the shadows brewing just out of sight. The medallion flickered in and out like a faulty light bulb, its glow dangerous. Something stirred within him, an awareness that the medallion wasn't just a key, it was a vessel of power, dangerously unpredictable. They emerged onto an open hillside dotted with the remnants of an ancient village. Rusted metal structures hugged the ground, remnants of a battle long forgotten. The echoes of history whispered in the wind, but it wasn't the past that haunted him. It was the looming darkness behind them, stretching their shadows distorted and monstrous against the flickering light. "Do you hear that?" The soldier suddenly froze, his eyes narrowing. A chorus of whispers floated through the air, languages blending, tones rising and falling like waves. "What do they want?" Past treachery, lost souls. The voice felt almost tangible, wrapping around them with an icy grip. "Don't listen," he shouted, but the words were lost in the swell of sound. Each syllable thudded against his chest, tearing at the threads of resolve that bound them. The soldier raised his weapon, eyes ablaze. "We can't let them drag us back." A figure emerged from the shadows, a woman, draped in tattered cloth, her face obscured. As she stepped closer, the air felt oddly charged. "You can't run from the truth," she whispered, her voice a caress and a curse all at once. He stumbled backward, fear crashing like a wave as memories flooded back. Her image flickered with recognition, a haze of pain and deep betrayal woven into the fabric of his mind. "Who are you?" he demanded, anger bubbling up, mixed with fear. "I am what you left behind," she replied, sorrow woven into every word. "You sought power without understanding the price." "Shut up!" he shouted, the ground trembling beneath him. The medallion flared, casting a brilliant light that shattered the gloom. The woman shrieked, recoiling into the shadows, but her laughter echoed back, rich with mockery and despair. "You think light can banish darkness? Keep moving." The soldier urged, dragging him back toward the fading path, but they didn't have time. The glow of the medallion dimmed, the darkness tightening like a noose. With a sudden burst of energy, they dove into the labyrinth of ruins, adrenaline spiking. The whispers turned into shrieks of fury, agonized memories clawing at their heels as they raced through the abandoned street. Yet something deep within him recognized that running could only take them so far. The truth and its consequences lingered close behind. "Do you think we can defeat this?" he gasped, heart racing. "Only if we confront what we've lost," the soldier replied grimly, determination cutting through the shadows wrapping around them. As they turned a corner, a chasm opened before them, a void stretching into an abyss. The shadows lunged, their whispers transforming into a cacophony of anguish. "Jump!" the soldier yelled. And without a second thought, they leaped into the dark, the ground disappearing beneath their feet. Would they find the truth waiting below, or would it drag them further into the depths of despair? The chasm swallowed them whole, the shadows closing in, whispering promises of unspeakable horrors. They plummeted into the void, weightless and disoriented. The air rushed past him, a gust of darkness pressing against his skin. He felt the soldier's grip tighten around his arm. Panic surged through him. What awaited them at the bottom? Would they hit rock, or would the void swallow them whole? Time stretched in the descent. He gasped, heart pounding against his ribs like a war drum. His thoughts raced, spiraling into chaos. The woman's words echoed in his mind, twisting like barbed wire. "What you left behind, what did that even mean?" Suddenly, they hit something solid. The impact knocked the breath from his lungs. Clawing to regain his footing, he stumbled, falling to his knees on a rocky surface, no longer falling but surrounded by darkness. He blinked rapidly, eyes adjusting to the dimness. "Where are we?" he asked, dread flooding his veins. Shadows crept along the walls, flickering and shifting like restless spirits. Sound danced around him, whispers, laughs, cries that fluctuated between familiar and alien. The soldier grunted, scanning the area, weapon drawn. "I don't know. But we need to keep moving." He dragged himself to his feet, brushing dirt from his knees. The medallion pulsed weakly, casting a faint glow that barely penetrated the thick, musty darkness surrounding them. "What about the voices?" "The shadows are messing with our heads," the soldier said decisively, face set in determination. They moved forward, the ground uneven beneath their feet. Each step felt like a careful negotiation with the phantoms whispering promises of despair. Despite the soldier's bravado, doubt gnawed at his mind, unrelenting. "If this is the abyss," he whispered, his voice trembling, "then what comes next? Whatever it is, we face it together." "You have me," the soldier replied, a fierce loyalty igniting in his eyes. They ventured further into the shadows, the walls closing in around them. Just as the darkness felt suffocating, the medallion flared to life, illuminating fragments of what appeared to be a vast tapestry woven into the stone. He moved closer to it, heartbeat quickening. Images, vivid and haunting, danced across the fabric, warriors clashing, ancient rituals, and a great fire. But amid the chaos, a single figure stood apart, a figure that looked eerily familiar. He squinted, trying to focus. Was it? "Look!" he shouted, pointing. The soldier squinted at the weaving. "What do you see?" It's me." His voice trembled with disbelief. but older and commanding? What is this place? Somewhere we need to understand, the soldier replied, a hint of urgency creeping into his tone. As they studied the tapestry, the whispers became more pronounced, coalescing into a single, dissonant voice. Face your past or be consumed by it. The floor shook, sending vibrations through their bodies, as images splintered and morphed. The shadows converged, looming above them, opening a portal swirling with colors and light that felt impossibly inviting and cruel at once. Stay close. The soldier shouted over the chaos, gripping him firmly. Before they could react, the light from the medallion flickered wildly before illuminating a weapon at their feet, a sword forged of shadows and light, lying there as if waiting for a worthy hand. What was the cost of taking it? A choice lay before them, heavy as a stone, and the whispering shadows grew louder, offering secrets they might not want to know. Would they plunge deeper into their past or grasp the sword and change their fate? Now, what? He asked, breathless. Only you can decide, the soldier said, eyes fixed on the spectral blade, with their fate hanging in the balance. The moment stretched, anticipation crackling like lightning in the air. The choice felt monumental, reverberating in the core of their beings, with shadows looming ever closer, and an uncertain future ahead. What choice would he make? The shadows swirled and danced, as if daring him to grasp the sword. It glittered with both danger and possibility. Time felt suspended, the air thick with tension, the whispers clamoring for his attention. The soldier stood by his side, tense yet willing, waiting. You have to make a choice, he urged, voice clipped with urgency. What do you want? What do I want? He repeated, grappling with the weight of that question. His past twisted through his mind like a dark vine, suffocating hope. Would this sword help them escape, or would it bind him to the very darkness they sought to outrun? What if it consumes me? He muttered, fear gnawing at his insides. Then you confront it. The soldier snapped, stepping closer, the urgency radiating from his every word. The past will only repeat itself if you let it. Decide, now. With every heartbeat, he felt the sword's promise resonate, a chance to wield a power that could bend fate. He felt anchored to the moment, aware that this would define them both. Could this be the path towards building a future instead of a repeating cycle of violence? I refuse to be a pawn, he shouted, fingers curling tightly around the glowing hilt. The moment he touched it, energy surged through him, igniting every nerve. The shadows recoiled, fear saturating the air. Go! The soldier barked, eyes glimmering with fierce determination as he stepped between him and the dark. Make your stand. I will. He screamed back, feeling the sword awaken the fire within. It felt like the very essence of his being merging with the weapon's strength and conviction swelling in his chest. Together, they forged onward, the sword lifted high. The shadows struck a tempest of anguish, aiming to snatch away their hopes. But with every swing of the blade, light burst forth, slicing through spiteful fingers reaching out for them. The whispers turned to shrieks, echoes of fear darting back into the dark corners. A brute form loomed, a specter with a tortured visage, the embodiment of regret and pain. You cannot change what you are. You are forever bound. It howled, shrill and menacing, fury coursed through him. No. I will not let you define me. He swung the sword again, and radiant light surged, ripping through the shadows, illuminating the hidden passage that lay before them. Trust in what you have. The soldier demanded. This is our only chance. The ground trembled, answering the call to the surge of raw power. Now, let us finish this. He yelled, drive igniting his voice. They charged together, focusing on the specter that towered before them, the shadows shrinking back like a tide, ready to pull back. Your fate is yours to mold. He shouted, blade arching through the air, a symbol of defiance. The specter screamed, a sound mingling with anguish, as the sword tore through the darkness, manifesting before them, splitting despair into music of hope. In that moment, the light burst free, brighter than he remembered, swirling around them, dizzying yet exhilarating. It felt like freedom, the remnants of the past curling into fog. Together, they charged forward, the fortress of shadows crumbling like ash behind them. As clarity returned to the air, they emerged into a new dawn. The sun hung low, painting the world in hues of orange and gold, a badge of a new beginning. The shadows that once constricted them now scattered like dust in the wind. In that moment, resolution surged within him, a commitment to not live in fear anymore. "We did it," he breathed, the weight of the sword still lingering but now transformed into a symbol of unity they could wield together. Around them, the remnants of the ancient village glimmered in the morning light, memories unshackled. They had faced their darkness and emerged on the other side. "Now we can begin to write our story," the soldier said quietly, the bonds of solidarity forged through trials intertwining them deeply. Together. Deep gratitude washed over him as he considered the enormity of their journey. They were the authors of their own destiny, it had always been theirs to shape. "So, what now?" he asked, hope blooming within. The soldier looked towards the horizon, eyes unwavering. "We build a future, not just for us but for all. It's time we change the narrative." And as they set forth into the world anew, every step resonated like a pledge. Wherever fate led, they would walk it together, for every past wound could heal in time. Before them stretched an unknown path, tangible and bright, waiting to be forged from courage and determination. With a final glance back at the dissipating shadows, he smiled. "It's only the beginning." And so it was, as they breathed in the crisp air of new possibilities and stepped forward into the embrace of a hopeful dawn. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that await on this channel. Smash that like button now, it really helps the algorithm and keeps these amazing tales alive. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. I want to hear from every single one of you, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. This is the moment to show your support. Every action counts. Let's keep this community growing stronger together.